Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm Lauren Metzmer,
I'm
and this is,
Ashel Seasons Eldridge.
yes, and we're excited to be here today and talk to you about what is frequency. So,
Yeah, what is frequency? First off, we have a four-part ceremonial event called Frequency happened in um, in Oaxaca, Puerto Escondido. So excited to come back after 2 years. The last time we did something there was called Activate Your Medicine, right? With a lot of esteemed healers and like a healer to healers event. So it's really beautiful to come back to this land.
yeah,
Yeah. So
exactly.
what's on the menu? What's on the menu?
What's on the menu for the frequency event? Well, first of all, I love that we're calling it a four-part ceremonial series because that's exactly what it is. We've
Hmm.
set this up so that people can come to one, some, or all of the events. And so that offers a lot of flexibility. I also really, so the let's go into the events. I guess we can kind of briefly list them and then go into them a little deeper in a bit. But the four events are we're going to start with, and it's actually a six-part series. We'll have an opening and a closing session, and then four actual events. The first event that we'll be doing will be called the Galactic Light Language Activation with Ashel. And then we will do a cosmic dreamscape sound bath, which is really exciting and cool. And then we're going to do a geodesic temescal ceremony. And lastly, we're going to end up in the mountains above Puerto with some beautiful, lush mountain scenery and work with the medicine of the mushrooms. So, the entire series, you can, if you come to just one, that's great. You'll get a lot of charge from it. But if you come to all of it, it's kind of like this journey through frequency. And I think that's a great time now to kind of talk about what is actually like frequency when we're talking. Why did we put this name onto these events?
Yeah, frequency. So, I mean, when we started, well, for me personally, I was, you know, I'm into, journeying in general, sort of medicine journeys into Dr. Joe Dispenza, Abraham Higgs, all of that. But also as a healer and one who's looking at how do we create change and transformation on the earth, for ourselves and for the collective and fulfilling these bodhisattva missions. It became apparent that we had to understand, I had to deeper like understand the connection between frequency and form. So we started talking, he's like, actually everything that we see, everything we see in the physical, which is actually mostly space, actually, when you really look, it on the that physics is really catching up to explain is actually begins with like a frequency, you know, with like an intention. There's something in the vacuum that is actually creating the seed that is the seed for everything that we experience. So frequency before form was what we were talking about initially, right? We are like, oh, we call it frequency before form because it seems like we have to like sort of embody these things that we want to see in the world. Gandhi says, be the change you want to see. We hear this, but what is it? What's the process that we have to go through? Who do we have to be to actually embody that? And how do we actually get to that place so we anchor that into our physical structure? So we were like, wow, let's actually go into the medicine of these times, which is really frequency itself, like frequency, the energy seed of existence.
Yeah, exactly. For me, when I think about frequency, it has so much to do with sound and
Mhm.
how sound creates and how sound can affect. Like you hear a loud banging sound, and that creates a whole vibration in your body that changes things.
Mhm.
Or you hear beautiful, soft music, and you can like literally let your spirit flow. And so, like, and they say, always think about this, how like the pyramids, the waterways below were formed with sound and with water. And so
Right.
just thinking of how frequency creates and it builds and it like makes the whole vibration. So I think exactly what you said. If we want to shift into some certain form, then we need to be in the frequency that brings us into that. So the ideas and the flow of how we did this. So starting with the galactic light language activation, this is something that you do as on a normal basis, and absolutely has to do with sound and frequency. Can you tell us more about that and how you work with it?
Right. So galactic language activation. Um, I learned this years ago. It was called celestial language from Grandmaster Li Tian with this system called Tiangong, which means universal practice. And within that practice is a Qigong, it's a Taoist alchemy practice, a Taoist immortality practice. But we had a lot of galactic communication, even like star being communication. So it was a lot of communication, connecting, harmonizing Earth, universe, and humanity for the purpose of purifying the soul, for the purpose of um, supporting the earth as a deity, a lot of deity communication as well. But one of the tools I remember we activated, and he's also the person that gave this Bodhisattva vow initiation for me, Grandmaster Li Tian. And one of the things I was adept to and what I was really into, and he was like, "Yo, you have to bring you to China." He didn't say it like that because he's like didn't speak pretty much. Like, he called me Asili, Asili. I was like, "Yo, Ashel." He's like, Ashley.
That's you.
And then he was so it's a really he gave a transmission. And then some years ago, I started having dreams of him with this satellite that's a part of the Tiangong satellite that we have to start implementing this galactic language again. And he wanted me to start doing these workshops. And essentially, we pair intention, thought with these primordial sounds. So we go to the depths of our soul and find what is the sound bubbling there. And we have a process for unleashing that. And then we go to the outer limits of the universe and we stretch our ear and stretch our multidimensional self to actually pull in that frequency and that sound. And we transmit it through the geometry of our word sound power. So it's an unencumbered way of communicating with everything in existence. We communicate with rocks, stones, gifts, galaxies, with each other, with soul parts, and really is combining this the intention with the frequency, right? And so in the Galactic Language Activation Workshop, we're gonna also open that up, but that's also very similar to like a lot of shamanic practices. So that's also part of the altar. It's also opportunity to do some soul purification work through this primordial, like sort of celestial language. It's also an opportunity to just activate and play in the multidimensional realm because a lot of how we open up the space and how we close the space has to do with us listening to and communicating with the field itself. So we're going to explain what the field is, why the field is so important this time, how we create fields. And then so in this way, we can create realities in a sense, right? In that space, it's gonna be such a beautiful field of communication and transformation. Hope that gives you a little bit of taste. Galactic
It's
language.
like for me, literally, like my whole right side is just like feeling these vibrations going down through it. Like even just hearing about it is kind of healing my body a bit. Um, and we chose to do that first because that just puts us into the
Oh,
frequency. Well, to not overuse frequency, but that's part of the reason why we chose
no.
that first, right? And to really connect. And it's a fun workshop too. It's 3 hours. And like I remember I took it a few years ago. It goes by so quick. It's like
Yeah.
boom.
Time
So
and shifts.
yeah, it's really great. So we're looking forward to sharing that with you. And then secondly, we're going to do the Cosmic Dreamscape sound bath. And Ashella and I will be doing that together. It's a collaboration. We both do sound baths and kind of Ashella is a musician who you can check out a number of his discs. What do we call it these days?
CDs, my tapes,
You can check out his mixtapes all over the Spotify.
all of them, MySpace.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And and it's really cool because well, we're gonna the idea of this cosmic dreamscape is now that you've kind of upped your frequency and entered into the realms, now we're gonna take you through a journey with this like an internal journey of meditation and we're gonna work with the plants Blue Lotus and Kalea Zacatetichi, which is Kalea Zacatetichi is a very special dream herb here from Mexico. So it's from this place. And if you don't know Blue Lotus is a sacred plant from Egypt. And together they're just they're heart purifiers, and they also bring you into these other dimensions. And then Ashel and I are going to play music and do some light codes. And just wanted to talk a little bit about the instruments because you play some pretty cool instruments that you're going to be bringing. So if you'd like to introduce some of those, that'd be great to hear.
Yeah, so my teacher Mamadou Sidibe offered me this ngoni. I actually have one here, and it's a harp from Mali. It's an African harp. They call it the hunter's harp too. So it communicates to the hunt before it's hunted. So
Mm,
it's that type of thing where it actually is a communicate through the realm, but it's connected to the earth and connected to the stars, just in how the shape it has a gourd to it, and it goes straight up, and it's a beautiful instrument. Also have some abuelos, some flutes. We'll have some sound bowls. Um, I work a lot with leaf, this primordial sound of the tree, that
mm,
we've heard for like hundreds of thousands of years. It's a very good at school about a good like broom, and then clearing and other little like trinkets and things like that that I pop out, and also the voice. The voice
mm.
with the bowls is a really big instrument. So yeah, but I want people to understand what a cosma is.
Hmm. So during the sound bath, yeah, thank you for bringing that up because during the sound bath, I'm going to also be working with the ascension codes of a cosma. And a cosma is this beautiful modality that has come to this earth exactly for that, to help us open up and see our gifts and like for to download our gifts. It will start to develop over that. It can happen literally within one session, or it can happen over a period of sessions, but also it heals anxiety, physical ailments. It just kind of is one of those medicines. It's a quantum medicine, which means with quantum work, which is pretty much everything we're doing in this, is the quantum, and it's related to frequency. Quantum work means it's working in the past, present, and future at the same time. It also knows no limits, so it can heal from here. We could heal other places. We can send energy to wars. We can send energies to the waters. We can do so much with it. And so, mixed with the sound and with the medicines that we're working with the plants, it's just going to create this weave within you that's like this cosmic tejido, cosmic weave within you. And the great thing is you can either go to bed right afterwards and be great, or you can actually go out and socialize. So it just meets you wherever it's at. So it's a really special modality to share.
Yeah. But
Mhm.
speak a little bit about why Puerto, because I know Puerto, so it's a really beautiful, beautiful land. I mean, just feeling the land when you speak about it in the space. And it's so these ancient beings that are there, um, that are like, inviting this connection between the earth and like the cosmic. And it's just like bouncing back and forth. And it's like this beautiful energy. And I just want to give an ode to the land and the space. There.
Mhm.
You speak a little bit about why Puerto, excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, I've been living here now for 5 years, and after traveling all over the world, the moment I stepped into Puerto, it was like, it told me I was here, I was home, basically. And a lot of people have that experience. It's a portal. There's this magnetic portal here that when you step in, the energies get amplified, which is why it's so cool to be doing this particular events or these events here, is because literally, when the full moon is full, we feel it stronger. When the planets are in a certain alignment, we feel it stronger. And and then it's the ocean, the beautiful Pacific Ocean, and we have the tropical colors, and then there's all of the foliage, and plus just everyone who's here. I honestly can say that the people that live here, both are from here and that have chosen this as a home, we're here because we just want to be happy and have a good life. And I think that also amplifies this portal energy that we have here. So, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so we got through two of the events. The first one, the Galactic Language Activation Workshop, and then we went through, talked about the Cosma and the cosmic dreamscape, sound bath with the herbs and what's going to happen with that. Then what's next is the geodesic dome. the Temescal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which our brother Cesar is going to be pouring for that, which is a really beautiful brother that I just met and spent a lot of time with. And I'm excited because at this point in the journey, we designed it as a journey. It's like at this point, it was like, okay, we've brought in some information through the Cosmo, through Gaki language activation. We sort of wetted our our like tongue, if you will. We put our feet in the waters a little bit. And then we are now like really going into the womb of the Temescal where we can really release more through the steam, through the plants, release more of these timelines that we want to like shed, right? And I think before that, we're gonna work with the sacred fire before that too, so we can really have a process of like, okay, what are we releasing and how are we connecting with that fire element itself? So this is where we get work with the earth energies, and again, these cosmic energies through the geometry of the geodesic dome, the dome piece of the Temescal. You want to say anything more about that?
Oh, it's just like all of it's so cool. And really, we're working with all the elements. So we're working with the fire as we go
Mhm.
in, the water, which is, like which we pour, the vapor, which is the air, also our prayer, our voice. So the air of our prayer and our voice, and then the earth of the geodesic, and then the cosmos, like you said, it's in a geodesic format. And I've been working with temescals for about 6 or 7 years, and I have, had all the varying kinds, but this one, there's something special about having the entire thing is made out of triangles, and triangles is one of the strongest shapes, is the strongest shape that exists. And also the way that it spreads frequency and it like it kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like dissipates? No, not dissipates.
Amplify,
Disseminate
disseminate.
disseminates the energy, and it just we're going to go. Cesar is an amazing temescalero. I love him because he's also in the vibe with the frequency, and he kind of mixes this. It's the ancient futuristic and with it. So I think it's going to be a super treat for those that get to come with, and then we sing, we pray, and we heal together.
Beautiful. And
Yeah.
then yeah, now so after that, so we have that journey, and then we have like a day or so to like integrate that. And then for the finale, the penultimate event um, is the journey with the sacred mushrooms and Niños Santos. And then so with that, Tierra de Luna in the mountains, we've been there before, and it has this really beautiful vibe where there's this beautiful tree with water coming out from like around it and surrounding it. And it has this like bath basically there with this really gorgeous, delicious water that is all in itself transformative. But I like this the way we're doing it this time with the medicine and working with the medicine because we're starting off like very simple, but we have these stations that we have set up so we can activate different senses and work with different senses, whether it be the touch, the sound's gonna be going on the whole time. But also we get to go into with blindfolds, we get to go into what does it feel like? The what does frequency feel like? And then we have some beautiful foods at the end so we can go into taste. But I like how we're breaking up the station so for folks who want to get artistic and creative while we're in a noble science, we can work with colors and we can work with paints and we can actually get physical like that. And maybe even some body paint too. So we can start to embody after all of these journey and we can start to embody what did we really come up with and what did we create internally, how we can emanate that externally just by the space of us being that. So things that can anchor the beingness, we're going to be working on that and communicating with the field, with the mushrooms, and then aggregating all the information, energy of the week that we've been together in that field and actually just celebrate that. Oftentimes we
Mhm.
celebrate who we are, you know, and allow the best of us to just come out naturally, right? Just by celebrating, being grateful for our life. Yeah. So that's what I'm excited about for that.
Yeah, I love it too. I love that we're working with the six senses because I think that also is part of the frequency, bringing it into form is then integrating it into each of
Yeah.
those pieces.
I agree.
And also excited for Maitreya and Cesar to be there with us, holding the space And to have it be a group, I mean, we really want this to be about 15 people, 15 to 20 people. So it's like a large enough space where we get to feel the vibrations of others, but then still get to have our own space and to do our own work. And I love what you said about the celebration. The celebration part is also, frequency when we are gratitude, when we have gratitude and we're in this frequency of love, that's when we call in more and more stuff. So I think that that also is just like super perfect alignment for the last step of this frequency journey.
Yes, indeed. Then after that, that's like we started, we'll have a closing maybe the day after or something like that. We'll just close up in a good way. But one thing I forgot to mention, in between this time period from the dates, what are the dates for the time period of the dates?
So the first official event, the Galactic Light Language, is October 6th, and then our final event, the Mushroom Journey, is October 12th. So over 7 days. It's over
Right. Yeah, over 7 days, but then there's an option like the day before to meet up on the
for
beach and
the
the day
opening
after.
ceremony. Yeah.
But then so forgot to mention, so during that time period, there's option for like sort of one-on-one sessions to like go deeper with each other. So one thing I'll be offering is, sort of soul retrieval work. One more work with the connection between sound, frequency, and and the body, actually, and the somatics. And also Sukya Mahikari, which
Mm,
is a spiritual purification practice from Japan that clears the spiritual energy, the karmic energy from the spiritual body, which is a precedent to our astral and our physical body and our emotional body as well. So that's been a beautiful one in the aid too. So that's one that we can offer, similar to Reiki, but it looks a little different because it's getting to a certain different place. But those options will happen too during the week too. We find the time.
yeah, I just think that I also just love for the Suki Marikari talking about how it's giving light. Like I think that specific statement is so beautiful. And so I don't know if you have more to add to that, but I think just talking about that a
Yeah.
little bit is really powerful for what we're doing
But
too.
as a deity, we work with the Amatsu. So the Amatsu no Gato prayer. So the Amatsu, the deity, is the bringer of light. So, and then in Sukemari Kari, they speak of the fire energy rising, this like light energy, the spiritual force, um, rising in this time to purify, right? So there's been so much accrual, karmic accrual over the time and over the eons. And now as we turn and shift, things are coming up to be shifted. So everything that we're experiencing that we see in the world is actually like an opportunity to shift and to melt this karmic energy with light. Yeah. So we can like lean into that, actually knowing that this is what's part of the process of this timing. So I like how they have that in there in sort of their idioms and into their sort of prophecies into in their statements of Sukimari Kari Woroshimi Sama of like we invite these particular deities that are really into purifying the spiritual body with like divine light and divinity. So we just stick with that. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I love it. And I just want to say, Ashel, thank you so much for being part of this and that we're creating
Mhm.
this together because I really love you and I love your medicine. I'm excited for everyone to get to experience the groundedness that you have, but how you can also just reach these heights of complete cosmic connection and the power that you have that's both strong and soft at the same time. So I'm really grateful and excited to work with you in that way.
Oh, getting soft. Yeah, yeah, in same way, I'm glad that, since over the years, I think we met like, I don't know how many years ago at this point, but working with in medicine space and sort of noticing that we had both this groundedness that you speak of, but this cosmic connection. So, I think at the time I was really deep into the Katamble and like the divination work. And I think you were also like sort of deepening with different like plant medicines and um in that time as well and had some deep initiations that you had went through in your life that you were starting to understand and learn and make sense of, why different things happen. And it was like, wow, like I have something to offer. Like I have things that want to come through me for the people and for the community. And then just to see what's happening now with the Cosma doing these workshops, being in Porto and like offering what you're offering. And we're excited to like join forces again, um, and connect, like to bridge, bridge the worlds, and give
I think
people,
bridges.
remind people the access of this, what we're coming into of humanity, really. It's a multidimensionality, yeah, of our true self. Yeah.
Yeah,
Something.
I think we're both bridges, a great word. We're both bridges to usher us into the next level. So yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you. I love you. And thank you all for watching and listening. And we'll see you in Puerto October 6th through 12th for Frequency, a 4-part series of ceremonies and love. Bye.